boomer, boomer. Triggered boomer, boomer. Boomer. Triggered boomer show. Simps, 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 simps. Simps, 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 simps. All right, Busy, that's more than enough. Actually, turn that up. That's a jam. I like that jam. It's gone too far when you're saying crack in the song, Busy. It's gone too far. Stop. Good job, Busy. Good job, Busy. Not. Oh my God, Biz. It was a boomer joke. It was a boomer joke, Busy. You don't get the irony? Wielding the boomer joke against the boomer. Busy, that picture of you looks freaking awesome in 1920 by 1080 60p frames per second full resolution. It looks great, my dude. This is the 3 stages of your weekend? Well, can you please break that down? Oh, I see. The left side is you wanting crack. The middle side is you going out and getting it somehow. And then the right side is after the whole process. Genius, Busy. You're genius. All right, welcome to the show. So, you guys know that in the evening, I've got a new format. My format is doing a show for you, then recording some video game content that I'm using to make into video game videos for the WARZONE, because honestly, I have enough time in the day to do a Unirock 2 video, to get a Unirock 2 stream ready, and still get some recording done for like a weekly gaming video from WARZONE. And I want to get them I want to make them real good. So eventually the nightly streams probably will go unlisted when they're done. Of course, you'll be able to find a copy on Twitter, on DLive, and all the other networks on Mixer. And even on YouTube if you have the link from my Twitter account, Periscope I meant. But the whole thing will be that I want to get a weekly, like, really, like, creatively done video game video and do that for, you know, a long period of time. I want to put a lot of focus into taking a day out of the week to do that. So that's what the stream is. We do these streams, we get these clips. But you focus it into to a video gaming channel I can take seriously, because, like, as most of you know, my first videos were gaming videos. The first videos I ever had that got views were gaming videos. My highest view videos on Unirock 2 are gaming videos. The videos that make me the most money for the most part are gaming videos when it comes to ad revenue. And I just want to be putting them out. YouTube monetized my gaming channel. I appreciate that. I don't want to waste the opportunity. But I still have content that I will not take to Unirock 2 other than extreme circumstances that happen daily that I want to respond to. So what happened today? What are we going to talk about? Oh, it's a doozy. There is a literal boom fest, a festival of booming, boomering or boomering. I like booming better. Fine. A festival of boomering going on Twitter and Facebook. And it's all a bunch of creepy, hypocritical bullshit and lies. And we're going to laugh at that, get your opinion on what we're seeing here. Then we're going to jump over and look at this crazy guy, this crazy dude who, like, is a cop, but I guess he's not a cop. Then we're going to bounce over to a crowdsourced criminals kind of discussion. Of course, I'm not going to be calling this crowdsourced campaign a criminal crowdsourced campaign, but I'm going to definitely make fun of this crowdsourced campaign. Then I think we're going to game for a little bit because tomorrow is Wednesday, so I have things I have to do during the day tomorrow, and then we'll be streaming tomorrow night. So, without further ado, let's go, boo-boo. You guys know who Sarah Michelle is? If you don't, I'm going to hook you up. Sarah Michelle. Sarah Michelle is an atheist content creator with a focus on like trans content and opinion and response. And Sarah, we've actually seen one of her videos on the nightly show because she did a response video a long time ago, and it was just on point. It was on point, if you recall. Now, I'll actually talk about the video because I don't really want to talk about a certain simp lord that much because we're about to look at some of his tweets and stuff right now, but I'll go into it. She did a video where she said she didn't agree with the behavior of the McSimp. The simp lord? It's like McDonald's. McDonald's is like the king of the discount food that you get really fast, but it's actually no nutritional value. It doesn't even taste that good. It makes you more hungry to eat it, and it's just an empty kind of like nasty way to eat, even though sometimes we all eat that, right? Well, that's what the simp lord is when you put an MC in front of it. The McSimp! He responded to the McSimp early on, one of the first people to actually stand up and weigh in alongside me and others to say that we couldn't support the behavior of the McSimp Lord, right? Now, I wasn't going to talk about this subject because we just talked about non-sec yesterday. And honestly, I was going to play some video games. And we were recording some gaming footage for the night when people started jumping into the gaming room and telling me what was going on Twitter and Facebook. And after seeing it, oh my, the comedic value is so good. We can't lose the potential comedic value of these tweets and posts. And also, we're going to defend Sarah a little bit because as much as we don't need to, this topic's been like beat into the ground. I think that it will cause even more simptitude explosion on Twitter and Facebook from the boom-tastic McSimp Lord himself. And I want nothing more than to see that every day. So let's go! You rock that. And if you have your vape or your drink, your caffeine, your Red Bull, your Monster, whatever you like to imbibe, your weeds or your nicotine, or, I don't know, a Sprite Zero, whatever you've got, get ready to hit it. And here we go. I just ate my CBD sucker. I'm about to hit this vape, and then we getting started. Let's go, peeps. Hit it. Sorry, y'all. I thought we'd look at this Tarkov run where I got 18 kills while I was extracting right before we started the stream, and while we finished our vape and our caffeine intake, CBD intake, your Mary Jane, whatever you're doing tonight, intake. So here we go. Let's get the show started. We got about another 30 seconds of this, and then we're heading in. Damn, I got so many kills. Wow. All right, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. You will be seeing that full run. That full run where I got around 18 kills. At least part of that, where I get the majority of the kills, is going to be in a Unirock 2 upload with the commentary video behind it. Be using it as the video for a commentary video. So if you want to see that full video, just keep an eye out on Unirock 2. Most likely I'll be talking about a current subject that's going on and using all this footage that I've collected as the background video. Because that's my goal. My goal is, you know, to have really pretty gaming background videos, or really cool background gaming videos into the future while I give my content. That's my goal here in the future. So, also, do you like the drawing that we have here? Taken did. Taken, you are wonderfully artistic, and I appreciate it. A little bit of busy fan art. Now, when Taken turned in this picture, it was just this one. And Busy took it and did that one, and that one next to each other in full 1920 by 1080. High def. It's high def. It's high def. It's high def. He has to tell you that it's high def. The stages of Busy's weekend. It's such a good... And he's running for president. I didn't know if you knew that. It's his third time running for president. He almost won once. Okay, so I've got a current live stream room that you guys have filled with videos that I think are clips from Twitter and Facebook that are just freaking fantabulous. So we're going to take a look really fast, criticize that, and then we're going to move on to some other subjects. Let me get it pulled up. Now, if you are a member of the Discord and you want to add things to the current live stream room, there is not a restriction on the current live stream room tonight. So if you want to put your opinion in there, how you feel about it, just please don't put like banter. If you want to talk, go to the general room. But if you want to weigh in on something that we're talking about, pretty please with sugar on top. Do me a solid. Put it in there. Do me a solid and put it in there. So I've got my background pulled up. I got a news story that we're going to talk about in here in just a few minutes. And before we get to any of that, let's go ahead and let's see here. What's this? Now, we've got this first. This is the aftermath of the judgment that we talked about on Unirock 2 yesterday, where I called most of I called the Steve McSimp supporters, the simp rhetoric supporters who refuse to look at the evidence that people have against this McSimp. And let's go switch to my other room just till we're done with this. So for the people that refuse to look at the McSimp, the evidence against McSimp and simp rhetoric, while continuing to hang with them, most all of them do it because they want to be able to be on non sequitur or get some type of potential gain from the simp nation. I said they're all simps, simping for those simp lords. Ironically, because simp rhetoric is the biggest simp for the silver-haired simp, McSimp, that exists. That was the video I did yesterday on Unirock 2. It was actually a classic. It's a classic Unirock video. This is like my old school, slightly edgy, slightly stupid, slightly silly, slightly crazy, yet packed with a good point type of content that I usually do. It was a good stream. I know it. You're right, Busy. You're right. It looks like somebody says, just a rhetorical question, but just how many chances does this court intend on giving Kyle? The patience of the court is beyond epic. Any other judge would have lost his shit long ago after all this BS. Then, depends on how much Kyle wants to add to his already owes amount and how long he wants to spend in prison. This is what I meant yesterday when I said that this entire saga, this entire crazy saga has exposed how unintelligent the group of people are that pretend to be intellectual, philosophical people that follow the fake. I mean, it makes sense because McSimp is a fake philosopher with no degree, no real, qualification, nothing, no proven track record. It's not like he's put out a series. He's not like Aaron Ra, right? I don't know if Aaron Ra has qualification, like any type of training, any type of schooling, or any type of other thing. But what he's done, he's put out a series of videos. Let's ignore if he does have a qualification because that doesn't matter to this point. Aaron Ra put out a series of videos, and those videos a lot of people reacted to them and were impressed by them, and he kind of got a reputation because of his opinion around those topics. I'll admit, even though I don't agree with Aaron Ra on everything he puts out, that he does good work. He does good content. Constantly lose this damn thing. I will say that when it comes to Aaron Ra, if I want to pull up Aaron's stuff, react to it or think about it or whatever, I think it's actually, a good series of videos. He's got a good record when it comes to the content that he's put out. And if you wanted to kind of go back, if I wanted to challenge Aaron Ra and say, Aaron Ra don't know what he's talking about, I would need to go watch Aaron Ra's material. And we all could agree to that, right? I'm sorry, guys. I still have to handle this like perpetual lung issue I've had. I don't think I have a cold or anything. I just think because we've all been stuck inside the house a lot lately, leaving the house a lot less, that the general health of my lungs and such are just horrible right now. I need to go running. I need to go run. I need to go take some jogs and stuff. I need to start doing some more push-ups. I need to get back into the swing of healthiness like I usually am. What I was saying was RN Raw has something you can go click on YouTube and hear his breakdown, his opinion, and what he thinks. This is something that McSimp lacks. He's faking. Anyway, the people that follow him, you would think, are in the pursuit of deep thought. Though, there's no example of that out there that has to do with McSimp. Of course, by McSimp, I mean McRae. Being a simp lord, he also now is forever defined as a simp himself. You have to be a simp. If you're a simp lord, you're kind of a simp yourself. Anyway, so my whole point is, it's like, what video do you refer me to that will be something like if I wanted to go see what RN Raw's opinions are and what his thing is, or someone else, where do I go on McSimp's page to gain that knowledge? Well, there is no place to go because he doesn't have that type of content. If you go to one of his rambling live streams that involve no work whatsoever, he can just sit there and talk like I'm doing right now. I acknowledge to you this is a nightly talk show separate from the content that I produce. Got me? Okay. He, though, does not acknowledge that. His content is his long rambling streams. And if you watch his opinion on philosophy or any other thing on his stream, it's not anything like that. It's all drama. But then he'll say that he's not, right? So really, it makes more sense that the people who follow him are so closed-minded. It makes more sense the ones that are still there, that haven't done what we've all done or what anyone else who's bumped into him has done. People have, disagreed with him, not been able to support him because of ethical, moral, or what. Like, if you're following somebody on YouTube and you find out they went and beat the hell out of a old lady or something and stole her purse and then, called her a simp before, scrambling off, you wouldn't watch that person on YouTube anymore because it's just a messed up thing for them to do. Right? So, barring the fact if, they were, falsely blamed or whatever, but you get my drift? This makes more sense to why we've got so many closed-minded people who brand themselves as skeptical people. We've got so many low IQ thinkers, at least in the example. They could be very smart, but what they post online makes them look very low IQ, and it makes sense that this is the last little group that's revolving around the McSimp, right? Depends on how much Kyle wants to add to his already owes amount and how long he wants to spend in prison. They are literally brainwashed here. You got me? So, because Steve has repeated this whole thing about Kyle going to prison over non sequitur, right? If Kyle is going to go to prison for anything he did on non sequitur, then Steve also needs to go for whoever he was trying to defraud. Literally, they don't even care. He admits he was trying to defraud some agency by trying to get paid under the table. This is literally recorded in clips of videos of him talking. Whereas the things they say about Kyle Curtis are things that are not recorded. Any type of admission, they're not. What song is that? That's a good one. Oh, Memories, yeah. The things that they claim to Kyle Curtis are things that Kyle claims are not true, and they have no evidence to their side. Let me give you an example like I gave yesterday. People say that Kyle stole Steve's money, and they believe it, they live it, they eat it, they drink it, they think it. But we've got video evidence of Steve literally saying he wouldn't allow Kyle to pay him, but under the table. So that gives Kyle a perfect reason to not pay him, right? Got me? If you would bring up to a skeptical person or somebody who actually is trying to give credence to both sides, debunk what they can on both sides, prove what they can on both sides so they can draw an actual opinion that's based in reality here. You're not finding that on the people that spit this constant vitriol, right? Now, that makes sense in knowing that McSimp has cultivated his audience into certain people, certain opinions that can be given. He blocks the people who give an opinion that he doesn't like. And the hypocrisy that you're about to see is going to be overwhelming once you see it. Now, I have a couple people in my Discord server that have been following this whole thing like as close as they can. And they have read every bit of the legal proceedings because they were really big non sequitur fans. And they kind of are invested in this. They were donators, they were fans, they watched for a long period of time, they went to the live shows, you get me? And so if I have something I need to go and say, hey, do you want to give me that? Show me the new, like I did yesterday, I could go to them and say, show me the new lawsuit, the new page to the lawsuit, and I'm going to read it. You tell me what you think. I'll tell you what I think it means. We'll brainstorm. We'll discuss it. You get me? So there is nothing in the lawsuit where the judge has said that Steve is entitled to 3 times damages. So I went in and talked to the Discord and asked them to tell me how he could have drawn this, where it is, because I would go live tonight, show you where it says he's entitled to 3 times damages. The only thing that anyone has been able to figure out, unless you have a link in the live chat, let me grab my live chat, because unless you have a link, unless you can show me where in the court papers it says that he's been judged to be owed 3 times damages, and that he's going to get 3 times damages. I'm pulling this up because I want you guys to tell me if you have an answer to this. So, fact. He says it's a fact that the judge has already said he's entitled to 3 times damages, but it doesn't say that in the lawsuit. Somebody type in the chat where it says that he's entitled to 3 times damages. Now, in the law, it says that the maximum amount that Steve could get, and this is what I was told. Now, I don't know if this is true. I'm repeating what I was told. Somebody in my Discord server said that the law states that Steve could get up to 3 times damages. So is it true that the judges determined that whatever the damages are, that Steve gets 3 times those damages, and it's factual, it's already in the paper? Kyle literally owes Steve at this point. Kyle's been ordered by a judge. All of that's been determined. Is that a fact, or is he lying? I need you to tell me in the chat. Okay, it does say he will get a treble amount. Give me a link, though. Like, what filing it is. I need that for a video I'm working on. Will you please? Keon, thank you, because I know you have answers to like 6 questions I'm going to ask tonight, so I'm glad you're here. It only informs that he's asking for 3 times damages, not that he's going to receive 3 times. That's what I was told. I was told that he asked for 3 times damages because it's the maximum he could get. And then in the court papers, it lists that Steve has asked for that. That's what I was told. Okay. Yeah, in North Carolina, it's a fact that that's the max you could get, but I haven't seen the judge order it, right? No. We're not in Discord now. I was talking to Discord earlier. Yeah. Yeah. If you can, do that for me. Okay, first things down. All right. So obviously, what I'm doing, I'm going to show you a statement that he's made, and then we're going to decide whether he's telling the truth, whether he's lying, or whether he's crazy. So we'll come back to that one. We've got a whole bunch of these, so let's get going. Lisa says, it's his fantasy Steve world. He is the king troll of the world. Chopper Lily says, it was in the filing before this last one. Not sure where, though. Don't remember exactly where. No problem, Chopper Lily. And don't stress yourself trying to find it. We're going to get the actual part pulled up, and we'll be able to figure it out. Because I want to take the lies he tells and put them in a video eventually. Maybe it'll be in the end of the video that I do exposing their GoFundMe fraud and Red's fallacy, all the fallacies Red's committed when he responded, right? So maybe we can do it there, but we'll put it somewhere. Okay, next up. We got a whole bunch of these. Oh, here we go. This one's going to get good. This is where it starts to get good. So, the question from the first one, to sum it up. To sum up the first screenshot, is Steve lying or telling the truth here? Is McSimp lying or telling the truth here? He says it's a fact that the judge has already ruled that he's getting 3 times damages. Okay. Is he lying or is he telling the truth? Now, this is insane. the hypocrisy behind this tweet is crazy. Now, this is coming from a man, McSimp, who made videos against Katie Joy for 9 months. And anytime anyone went to him, a member of his own audience, me, one of his internet buddies, anybody else, and said, you've done too many videos about Katie. You should only do videos about Katie when something new happens. You repeating all of this makes you look really bad. It makes you look like you're trying to convince the audience of what you want them to believe instead of giving them facts so they can make up their mind. He brushed it away, right? He said, I have to get up there and repeat things. Eventually, Katie Joy, not even that long, said to Steve, don't talk about me. Keep me out of your mouth. I don't want you to talk to me. Katie said this mere months after Steve began attacking her, okay? So he's got this today. No means effing no. Stay the F away from me. I want nothing to do with stalkers, bullies, harassers, and trolls. If she's harassing you too, let us know, please. He's telling his audience that if Sarah Michelle harasses his audience, that he needs to have you let them know so they can report Sarah. Now, I know what you're saying. You're thinking, it doesn't say he's going to report her here. He says that in a minute, okay? But how do you say this? You are okay targeting anyone that you want to target, no matter what they ask of you. And when he found out that Katie didn't want him talking about her son, he kept doing it with the excuse, and I have these tweets to prove it. You can go to my videos and watch it. He says, I don't care that Katie doesn't want me to talk about her son. I will talk about the truth because somebody has to. I'm not afraid to, right? I have a fire to, okay? Then it goes into the craziest thing I've ever heard. Shitty, dishonest, backstabbing people looking for attention from a group that they didn't want to be a part of simply for drama, views, and clicks. This is literally him describing what he, Reds, and Chesh admittedly do. Cheshire admits to this. She admits to this. So, dishonest, backstabbing people looking for attention from a group they didn't want to be a part of simply for drama. She admits that they go around attacking groups that they don't want to be a part of simply for drama, simply to get the attention of people. Cheshire's admitted that. She calls herself a troll constantly. I've got literal screenshots of Cheshire ordering her little farm of trolls that hang out with her, all 4 of them. Most of them are empty accounts manned by the simps. Cheshire does have a few simps, AT2 and others, and they man like 10 different accounts each to make it look like they've got a bunch of accounts, but still, you get what I'm saying? This is so hypocritical. How do you type this? How do you type this? You got to be kidding me. I could list so many people that this McSimp completely 180'd his not opinion, because it's normal to change your opinion with light of new evidence, where he 180'd whether or not he would talk to someone who he loved, who was the best content creator ever. Why? Because they criticized him. This example runs back ever since he first appeared, as you've known if you've seen my stuff. Why am I showing you this? Because this all has happened today. He's attacking a creator in doing this, telling people to report the creator, right? He's trying to get her channel removed, by the way, while crying that people have stolen his channel, or crying that Katie deserves to go down and deserves 10 months of constant trolling because she threatened to strike somebody. I'm going to show you him again threatening to strike someone else. Report them until their channel goes down, when all they did was criticize him. He is the worst hypocrite that's out on the internet right now. Maybe other than Onision. Oh, say it isn't so. I'm going to tag my harem of simpy admirers. Let's say this again. Literally, a man who's accused of blank harassing all those different women out there. And after being accused of harassing Katie Joy came out and told the world that Steve harassed her sexually, right? And then he made 9 months of videos targeted at her after the accusation, right? And he's telling somebody that no means effing no. But these thoughts are lost on this guy. Now, why? Team, fight. Wake up from your simptitude. It's obvious why people are laughing and trolling, lolcowling at Steve, because he's a lolcow. A hypocrite. Now, I'm bringing up Fight because Fight was in my comments section. Don't talk about me anymore, Uni. Fight. I don't have anything against you. I've always loved you, man. But you got to wake the fuck up. If you really think that you being around these guys are going to propel you further, you're only killing your YouTube channel here. I know Uni wants to give me bad advice. Uni wants to see us to... I've never wanted to see any of you guys do anything but grow bigger. Look at all the actions I've ever had towards you. But if you're going to come at me, I have to respond. And I'll still be nice to you, Fight. Oh, damn, that song is copyrighted, so let me skip ahead. I hope that wasn't enough to take away my monetization for this stream, but it might have been. Anyway, though, do you see what I'm saying? Fight. Dude, this is the guy who you guys have pledged your allegiance to. Now, you'll say, you know we didn't, Uni. No, we didn't. We just get along with him. Come on. Really? Why didn't you come get my side when me and him got into it then if you're not pledged to this guy? Skeptical creators aren't going to come and get the other person's side. Really? You believed everything he said about me. Everything I sent you that proved, literal video clips that proved my side against him, you ignored. You have to understand why I have a right to call you guys out whenever I want to. I'll do you a favor. I won't do it a lot. I'll barely do it. But don't act like I shouldn't do it. In fact, I should have done it months ago. I should have went hard at you guys instead of chilling for a while, because I had the attention of your audience months ago, and I could have done a lot more damage to you guys by criticizing you then. And I'm still kind. I waited a while to criticize you, but I'm going to criticize you till the cows come home. So just accept it. You want to criticize me back? Make a video. Stop hiding. Stop running over to somebody else's channel. Make a video. Do a live stream. Sit down. Come on my channel, dude. The invitation's been open the entire time to Fight, to Team, to the other people here. And don't say that the invitation to Steve isn't there. I've offered him a debate on Modern Day Debate since December, and he will not do it. Continuously turns it down. Okay. Stay the F away from me. Why didn't... Now, stay away from me to him means stop talking about me, because he's saying this to Michelle. No means effing no. Well, Katie told you no. She told you no on the phone. She told you not to talk to her like that. You didn't care. She told you to leave her name out of her mouth. She didn't want you talking about her. I heard it so many times. Katie's saying, Steve, stop. Stop talking about me. Leave me alone. You're harassing me. You're bullying me. Why in the world didn't you take her no as a no, my dude? Why didn't you take her no as a no? McSimp. But now you expect other people to take what you say and respect it, right? The classic narcissist response. Shitty, dishonest, backstabbing people. This is so crazy, bro. This should be a shirt. This should be a shirt that McSimp is forced to wear by God for the rest of his existence once he dies and goes to simp hell. Okay? Satan, in order to punish him, should make him wear this on a shirt. Shitty, dishonest, backstabbing people looking for attention from a group they didn't want to be a part of simply for drama, views, and clicks. That is your entire existence. That's provably the only thing your channel has ever been. If we rewind back to the time around the Great Debate Community, the original one, Steve's channel was a place where they went and talked shit on Tuesday and did other things like that. So it was constant drama back then. Get drunk, talk shit. Ban people, talk shit. Kick other members that created the Great Debate Community, talk shit. So hypocritical. This is how, like when I told you guys in December that I thought he was having a mental breakdown I was right. The dude had a mental breakdown back then and hasn't recovered from it. His narcissism prevents him from recovering from it. It's kind of sad, actually. Okay, I got to proofread these before I put them up, but here we go. Some of them have some very strong words. Now, this is the most hypocritical thing. All of these examples show team and fight or anyone else. Sly, simp, Sparkane, all the ones out there that simp fight for Steve. Exactly why you are having more and more and more of your audience waking up to how simpy you guys really are. Okay? This embodies it. Now, he's saying now that I normally don't show private DMs. Are you kidding me? You were involved in a massive outrage where you tried to show fake private DMs that weren't even yours, that you were the initial recipient of. And it turned out that those DMs were fake, and yet you still push them to this day that they're real. And yet you don't normally show private DMs? What? You've been live on a stream trying to talk to people about where I live, how to narrow down who I am so that you can literally tell people where I live. It's all recorded. It's on my channel. You can go watch it. There is nothing private that you will not. That's the biggest revelation of the last few months, is that you were the leader of the group behind the scenes that was trolling, harassing, doxing, threatening, like getting people to be scared, bullying women because you got her accused of saying things about your junk in front of them, and because they would never be sexually attracted to you in 1.16 billion quadrillion googolplex years, you couldn't handle it and attacked them for months. This is crazy town. Hypocritical. You constantly saying all of this stuff while never getting criticized by the people around you, while they're willing to criticize me over God knows whatever new thing they've dreamed up, is the reason your community has been fully exposed and is in shambles. It is the reason. I normally do not show private DMs, but she knows I want no contact with her, and she's stalking and harassing me and my friends. Even if you do not want contact from Sarah, because we know you're talking about Sarah. If Sarah wants to criticize something you do publicly, she can. At least she does it with respectfully. She explains her reasons. They aren't fake. They aren't fabricated. They're actual things like opinions and logic that she spits out in her videos. We're opposed to you creating fake screenshots every few weeks to try to frame your enemies. This is turbo omega hypocritical, my dude. But okay. Then they say, but I know no one's gonna care since it's only Cheshire Vic, Golden Unicorn, and Red's Rhetoric and myself, right? He literally cannot take criticism. It is so completely obvious. The man who thinks he's the perfect moderator and deserves to have a YouTube channel handed to him by the courts that he has no contract for, no proof of an agreement of, no recording of an admitted 50-50 business agreement where he willingly didn't sign a contract and admits to willingly not signing a contract when his partner wanted one signed. This guy says effing double standard. You kidding me? Do you want to know? Okay, so the reason why nobody cares if you get stalked or harassed or doxxed or whatever is because there's video evidence of you stalking, harassing, and doxing people over the last year that's come to the surface. So of course no one's gonna care. That's like the dude that robbed the bank complaining that somebody came up and robbed his money, the bank money he just stole, once he got home. Everybody's going to say, well, you shouldn't have robbed the bank, ding dong. That's like a drug dealer. I don't want to use that. Busy will get excited. Shut up, Busy. It already happened. It's just the most hypocritical thing you could say after your actions in the last year. I shouldn't have to break this down, by the way. I shouldn't have to, but since he's attacking Sarah so viciously, I'll at least give a little reaction. He doesn't understand why there's a double standard out there around this topic with you and Reds and Cheshire and Golden Unicorn. The 4 people who have spearheaded literal doxing campaigns, literal harassment campaigns with recorded evidence and their own admission on a lot of the stuff. And I know you say you didn't try to dox me now, but you were admitting it live while you were doing it. So sorry, I'm not going to take your now lie. I'm going to take what was recorded then while you were live, my dude. It's crazy town. This is crazy town. Kyle, that's not Kyle. If that's an impersonator account, go ahead and kick it out, please. Oh, it is him? Are you positive, though? Because isn't he logged in on non-sec? Okay, I just want to make sure if that is him, then that's fine. Okay. So anyway, he shows then a message from Sarah Michelle. Deleting my comments now, ha ha ha, you guys are ridiculous. And then he blocked her. What are you talking about? She can't harass you when you've blocked her. What do you mean? What is this? This is you lying? Gabriel says, no means no is virtue signaling. Sarah is rightfully accusing him with raw, and he replies with no means no. GTFO, simp. He thinks he's clever. What a loser. Gabriel, I'm with you, my dude. I'm completely with you. And give me your opinions, guys. If you're in Discord, you can put it in current live stream room. If you're in here, you can let a moderator know that you want it put in current live stream room. Tell them, let Uni know, and then type your opinion so I don't miss it, okay? It will get put in current live stream room. I'm not going to promise I'm going to read it, but I will do my best, okay? Bunny says Sarah is so much smarter than him, and he knows this. Well, Sarah's video criticizing him is very well done. Here's the difference between a video made by Sarah and a video made by Steve. And we'll actually look at one of Sarah's videos in a little bit. Sarah comes, I'm not giving Sarah an endorsement. I don't give endorsements anymore. I'm sorry. I'm not saying that I completely support Sarah, because next thing I know, I support people, and next thing I know, they're trying to, go batshit crazy, saying that somebody close to them is accusing someone in my Discord of doxing them. They can't give any evidence, but then we find evidence that the person accusing them actually doxed people, and it's ignored by those people. So I will not completely give a glowing, supportive thing, but I'll at least say, if you watch Sarah's video and compare it to a McCrae video, or a McCrae where McCrae delivers information compared to Sarah. Yeah, Sarah not only is smarter than McCrae, has a higher IQ than McCrae, is better at delivering information so that everybody understands the issue by the end of the video. This guy is the king of confusion. He's the king of simp narcissist confusion. He wants you to be confused about non-sec. He wants you to be confused about these things that he's bitching about, because he's having a breakdown. And you want to know why? Because when that judge put out that thing, a lot of this is all centered around the ruling. He finally realizes the judge is saying, if we find out you've been lying, McCrae, you're the one that's going to get, responsibilities to pay some damn bull. You got me there. Okay, I was going to say he could go to jail, but I want to ramp up to that. But it's caused him to break down. It's caused him to flip out. I need a better room. Can I use the beaver room, Busy? Do you mind? What do you mean it's broken? Looks fine to me. Beaver room looks fine to me. So, in the end, where's the evidence that she's stalking you? You literally have called her. Remember when somebody called you a criminal? You got freaking furious. Well, where's your evidence that she's a stalker? And we got to keep going because it gets so worse. It gets so much worse. Hold on, I want to screen these. Where's the music, ding-dong face? Did you smoke the music too? Sorry, me and Busy are having problems today. So here we go. I think this is Sarah, but I don't know. You mean do my own creative content and stand out from others? and not have to drop McRae in all my videos to attract a crowd and milk hate boners for as long as possible. And then Steve McSimp, the super Simpington, says, you know, here is a silly effing thought. Maybe if some people spent some time working on their own channel content and making it something of value and not spending their time trying to F with those who are they would maybe have more people follow. I know, crazy, right? How is this not one of the most hypocritical statements anyone has ever seen? It's crazy. Besides the obvious grammar issue, if some people spent some time working on their own channel content, making it something of value, so he's saying if people actually put time into their channel and not spend time trying to F with those who are they would maybe, so we'll say he's saying instead of trying to F with others, he's literally either saying one of two things. One, do your own content and don't attack anyone, or do your own content and don't attack me, and maybe you'll gain some followers, right? But the point is, that's what you do. You attack people that criticize you to try to protect yourself from their criticism because you know their criticism owns you. You know they found evidence, they found a video clip, they found something that exposes what you've been doing as complete hypocritical bullshit, like what I did in Versus Mode Part 2 and on December 12th, the video I uploaded. And because my video had literal evidence of what you had done in it, you couldn't lie. So you had to ignore Versus Mode Part 2. Label me the enemy. Same thing you're doing with her. The same thing you've done to everybody who fought. Now, what you could have done was actually talk to me about what I found in Versus Mode Part 2, that Leslie Bass had faked her strike, that Katie did not do it. Therefore, you should apologize to Katie for the things you accused her of she didn't do, while still criticizing her for things you feel she should validly be criticized for, but you wouldn't do it. Right? You are describing what you do, simpy simp. How in the world? You are literally having a mental breakdown, or you're very dishonest. Because I can read what Sarah Michelle says, understand why Sarah Michelle thinks it, because she put out a great video breaking it all down. Whereas with you, I have no clue how you have a right to say any of this provably. Okay? Let's keep moving. No, it's proven a fake email. Somebody said, I still believe that was a fake email. It's definitely a fake email. There's no way around it. We've even checked with YouTube. YouTube itself has said it will not have grammar errors in their strikes, or spelling errors and those types of errors in their strikes. It was a fake strike. Now, I'm not saying YouTube would give us any information about that specific strike. They wouldn't, of course. I'm saying YouTube has stated that. Okay. Which one we need here? I know crazy, right? He's like a freaking little, he's like a cheerleader that's all pissed off. He's like a cheerleader that's all mad. I know, like crazy, right? Like crazy. She has also been messaging me on Facebook after I said, wait, did I finish that? Hold on. He said, you know, here is a silly thought. Maybe if some people spent time working on their content. Yeah, I finished that. Okay. She has also been messaging me on Facebook after I said that I was not going to respond to her. She's legit trolling and harassing me and my friends online now. I need to break this down, please. I need to. Really? to get in my groove, peeps. You got to let me get in my groove tonight. I need to be in my live stream groove. I haven't gotten my live stream groove much in the last few weeks. I got to get in my groove, y'all. Give me that funky track. So, Sarah Michelle is the she he's talking about. Been messaging me on Facebook after I said that I was not going to respond to her. You know, it's weird. I can't think of the amount of people you told to message Katie Joy, the amount of times you tried to tag or message Katie Joy after she asked you to not respond or message her. Hypocrite, dude. Look, you're setting all these up, bro. I'm just knocking them down. This is easy. It's easy, it's bad, it's ding-dongy, and it's dumb. She is legit trolling and harassing me and my friends online. Again, we have video clips of you doxing people. We've got video clips of you guys admitting to trolling and harassing. You are accused of blankually harassing several women, and you've attacked those women for accusing you. I'm sorry, dude. Like, why should anyone care? Oh, nobody. He literally said that in that last tweet. Nobody's going to care that people are harassing us. She's not harassing you. Show us. Well, the only thing we have from Sarah is this. Let it be known that Sarah is a stalker who can't seem to take a no. Well, then, how in the world, how is Steve piggybacking off of what someone else has said while condemning Sarah as a stalker and harasser? If he was going to condemn her as a stalker and a harasser, he should put out evidence of it and then a statement about it. But instead, he's literally piggybacking off of his simps. The people who simp for him, he's piggybacking off of them. But yet again, this is only the 2000th time you can see this happen on social media, where he has a narrative he's pushing that he will not take any type of input from, right? Nobody can go to him and say, bro, you are straight lying about Sarah, because he'll just flip out and block you or whatever. But when one of his close simps says something that fits his complete narrative now, out of nowhere, they also have come to that conclusion. Well, what do we have here? I can't pull this up. So I would like for, if somebody can go to this tweet and clip this and put it in current live stream room, I'll pull it up and we'll look at it. From what I can see, it says, comments because I have made it abundantly clear that she is not something wanted to do with us. For one, I support the decision and can only hope one day she'll learn to be her own persona or person. Are you kidding me? Sarah was around before you, doing what she does. She doesn't do anything that I would deem similar to what you do or talk about. She has a better persona than you do. It's provable. Look at your channel and then go look at hers. She does content. She edits the content. What do you mean? I can't break this down to even see his point. I think he's lying is what he's doing. You could tell me in a little bit, though, but let me pull up the next one. I think this dude is straight having some type of weird simp life breakdown. Not a midlife, a simp life breakdown. Something like that is going on, peeps, because this is just too much. And this dude claims to have graduated from a school that makes him smart. Graduating from that school makes you a smart person, according to him. Let me check this real quick, making sure no doxing. These guys love to dox people. McCrae and them love to dox and harass. Then something, it's done, game over. So it is their email account, maybe a troll pretending to be Sarah, even though I can fully believe that it's her having a tantrum. You haven't even shown her having a tantrum. It's almost like you purposely didn't show her comment. Where is her comment? Where is Sarah's comment so we can judge whether she's having a tantrum or whether she's criticizing you ding-dongs? Because I'm sorry, you have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people who criticize you and look at you guys like the doxers, harassers that you are, liars, narcissistic manipulators, and yet Sarah doesn't have that type of thing out on the internet that I've ever seen. But instead of showing what you're accusing her of doing, you put someone criticizing her here. Said the lonely troll. Maybe it can open up, and if it can, put it in the current live stream room, because I can't go look at this stuff. They've all blocked me. Sarah said the lonely troll trying to make a quick buck on passerby. Res instance, deleting your bitching, fix that for you. That's from Cheshire. Cheshire deleted, censored someone, obviously. I mean, Cheshire always has to do that, so it's whatever. But what else we got? Is this the no means no one we just looked at? Stay the F away from me, blah, blah, blah. Dishonest backstabbers, blah, blah, blah. Looks like that's about right. You notice how he constantly uses F-bombs in an angry manner on Twitter every few hours? I worry about his blood pressure. I think he's going to pop. He's going to have a boomer pop. His head's going to pop off. Stalking and harassment. But hey, it doesn't count if it's us. Now, let's take a look at this one. Because by this tweet, you yourself are now worse than every criticism you lobbed at Katie Joy Paulson. Okay? You descended upon her doing her tweets around filing reports against people that talk about her son online. Got me? You remember that. That was his catalyst, his thing he used to attack Katie Joy. Saying that you can't ask people to report things. You can't report people without being this horrible thing that deserves 8 months of criticism and troll groups on Facebook and private groups to try to expose you. Stalking and harassment, but hey, it doesn't count if it's us, right? Can we report her for stalking, I mean? For stalking. Why does it say joined 59 minutes ago right here with no subscribers? That's not even her. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Why are you guys acting like it's Sarah if this thing here proves it's not? And it's from Ilya. Pretty obvious. Oy vey. Go report Sarah for stalking. This is going to be a long waiting game, isn't it? Longer equals more sanctions. Oh, this is about the, well, we're going to get into the lawsuit. Apparently, Jillian from Jilly Juice called me out. We've got 1 million of these. I'm not filtering them down. We're just going in. Oh, God, does that have the word perpetuity in it? Oh, my God, it does. I'm ready. So, Geo Streber. Geo, how can you be this closed-minded? Why can't any of you guys who claim to be skeptical and intelligent people, why can't any of you consider the entire picture, weigh both sides against each other, and speak about it logically on your channels? Why is it always this, like, closed off, we've already made up our minds type thing? We are right, everybody else is wrong. You guys have exposed yourselves as what you truly are. Non-skeptical people who have targeted the Flat Earth community for easy pickings so that you could find a way to try to make money and gain a YouTube following. In my opinion, I've already told my daughter where to find all the information relating to the case as well as her mom knows about this. I told my daughter to rigorously pursue collection for decades. Dead serious. If something happens to me, Ruhif has my power of attorney. So some dude that you don't know in Australia has your power of attorney. Because he gave you a bunch of money online. Okay. You have no family that can actually have that much power over you? Because that's a lot of power. Huh. Anyway, you'd think maybe a lawyer would have your power of attorney. Ruhif hired you a lawyer. That would mean Ruhif's not a lawyer. Am I wrong there? I don't know what the hell this is. Oh, no. Fishing Rivers. Team does have interest in the drama. I mentioned Team, thanks for asking, because he's been going around showing people DMs between me and him. So I'm going to mention Team a lot. Then I'm going to do a video that fully exposes Team and breaks down all those nice little DMs. I mean, I have to defend myself against what he's going around telling people out there. He cherry picks them too. Cherry picks the DMs. He doesn't show what happened leading up to me sending him, a huge breakdown of the incident, right? He shows people the breakdown of the incident and then complains, Uni spammed me a bunch of information, because he pretended like he wanted the information. He didn't tell me not to send him the information. He told me he wanted to come speak to me face-to-face to get the information. Well, through the internet, face-to-face, this private meeting, to get the information. So when he said he was too busy to come talk like 6 days in a row, and that he wasn't ignoring me, he's too busy to come talk, I went ahead and sent him the info. And now it's being framed as if I spammed him or something. So yeah, I'll bring up team anytime I want. Why do you care if I bring up team? If I'm just this dirty, rotten liar out on the internet, team shouldn't care if his name gets brought up around here. He should go ahead and let Uni bring up my name. He's a dirty liar. No one's going to believe him, and it'll get my name out there a little more so people will come check my channel out. Did you? Oh, hey, Wildlife Ding Dong. Did you say that to Team when he was bringing me up with Reds and Fight was bringing me up with Reds constantly in the last few weeks? Fight was doing it the last few weeks. Team's been doing it for a few months because I know he's been gone. It's been going back a few months. Wow, seems like I have a perfect freaking excuse and reason to bring these guys up. So anyway, has full power. Ruhif has full power to act in the name on behalf of my daughter to help her collect in perpetuity. So some of you are going to say, now, Uni, even though you criticize Steve, you have to agree with him that his daughter should be able to collect the money from non sequitur in perpetuity so that she's taken care of, because if you went away and there was a source of money coming in, you'd want your kid to collect it. Well, I agree that his kid should collect money that he has deserved if something happens, blah, blah, blah. But I don't agree in this situation that he is telling the truth. I know he's lying here. See, Steve is pretending that there is something contingent on Kyle messing up or doing something that he shouldn't have done to prevent Steve from getting his money to give his daughter. Well, Steve McRae, with his own mouth, has already admitted it wasn't Kyle's fault that his daughter didn't get the money. It was his fault. There's a full breakdown on my channel, not my words, with Steve saying it himself, if you want to hear it. But a lot of the Steve supporters out there, the Steve simps, as I call them, the ones that ignore the evidence that's out there regardless of the number of people that have put it out, and just claim everyone's a hater, drinking the haterade. Steve denied getting paid by non-sec. He said he wanted his money under the table. He admitted this many times. And when Kyle refused to give him the money under the table, and Steve started to attack and tell people to unsub from non-sequitur, unsub from the non-sec Patreon, I don't think you'd have paid Steve either. Like, if you had a channel and you were in Kyle's position and you just fired Steve for what he'd done, right? You'd offered him 50-50 on videos that he'd been in, and then all of a sudden he starts attacking the Patreon, attacking the channel, getting people to unsub, getting people to leave, all this kind of misinformation, lying, and skeezing that he's been doing. You yourself wouldn't pay him. You would wait until a court hearing, and you could go in and explain. Now, you'd say, but Uni, doesn't Kyle owe Steve? I would assume he would, right? We all assumed it in the beginning. I did too. But the truth of the matter is, it's just not the case. Steve is dishonest, so he wouldn't tell us back then what had really happened. But because there's proof of what happened, you get my drift? You're going to ignore it, but you've already ignored it if you haven't seen it up to now. It's on my channel. Got me? Let me break this down. I need the billboard of doom to fully break this down, but I'll break this down if we got any ding-dongs in the chat that haven't woke up and started to look into the evidence against McRae by now. All right. So, give me some, let's see, what do we got? We need, festive. Something festive, Busy. Oh, that's too festive. That's no, the next one. Thank you, that's it. Heavy bass. Heavy festive bass. Now, let me break this one down one more time. No. Main room. Thank you. I told my daughter where to collect the money in perpetuity against Kyle. That's the sum up of this whole dumb thing. So, if it's Kyle's fault that Steve didn't get paid, something that he was legally owed, then yes, his daughter should try to get her money if anything ever happens to Steve. I think this whole tweet is pure manipulation. He's trying to virtue signal about his daughter, virtue signal about how dirty Kyle did him and all this. But we've got video clips of him admitting not only to, best simp stream I ever saw. Watch Uni, look into this for me, lol. Thank you, August. This is the revenge of the simp lord against the vaping Vader. Yes, you are correct. What was it again, though? Where was I? Let me start over. So if it is Kyle's fault that Steve didn't get paid, then sure, I get it. But if it's Steve's fault that he didn't get paid, then this is all bullshit. You would expect that if Steve was owed some money and he really cared about his daughter getting money that he's owed, he would have put it on paper. He would have drawn a contract. Remember, he told us he had a contract back in the day? Okay. He didn't have a contract. He's never had a contract. And basically, he's only alleged that him and Kyle had a 50-50 business agreement for the channel. There's no evidence of it. So the sheer fact that he didn't, that he turned down putting their agreement into a contract, I'm not going to fight for him here. So why does he keep virtue signaling this? Right? Why is he putting this out at this point? I think it kind of explains itself as you get to the bottom, right? He brings up Ruhif, the man paying for everything. He's letting Ruhif know, if you fund my journey to get the money from Kyle and somehow I die or whatever, right? I wind up in the hospital and I can't pursue this journey. I need you, Ruhif, to take with my daughter to court and get the money she deserves. All of this would have been solved if he would have drawn up the contract with non sequitur by his own claim. Now, Kyle says they didn't draw up a contract because Steve, one, Kyle wasn't willing to give Steve 50-50 for the business, and because Steve didn't want a contract drawn up. Because then there'd be a paper trail to affect whatever the payment was he was worried about getting for under the table. Because of all of that, you can say that Steve's a ding-dong, you can say that Kyle's a ding-dong, but the evidence that's there is that this was a deceptive pull by Steve. I mean, that is admitted by him. So this is just pure manipulation. Bringing up his daughter again. Tagging Ruhif into it. He wants Ruhif to read this. He wants these other YouTubers to feel bad for Kyle effing over his daughter. It's all a narcissistic manipulation. Because any one of these people should have said, dude, Steve, if you were really worried about your daughter, why didn't you get a contract? If you were really worried about your daughter, why didn't you accept the money the 9 times Kyle tried to pay you? If you were really worried about your daughter, why didn't you accept the money the 9 times that, what's her name? Somebody give me her name. The lady, the girl. What's the girl's name on the red stream? Oh, shit. What? Shannon. What's her last name? Or what is her YouTube name? Q. Shannon, why did you not take the money from Shannon Q when she tried to bring it to you? If you really cared about your daughter getting paid, it is your fault that she didn't. But yet you're trying to frame to Ruhif and these other creators that it's not your fault. You deserve to be bailed out. You need support from the community because of this fact. The only thing factually that the community should be telling Steve, you are an adult. You were not a teenager. You chose not to sign a contract. This is something every single creator, business person, employee, worker, employer, every human being in the United States knows, and in every other country in the world, if you're not a flat earther, you're going to sign the contract, especially if it's waved in front of your head. Gabriel says he uses his daughter as a weapon. What do you expect from somebody who called someone else's kid Person X? And Thomas said, but RockAlot, his dad was screwed over in a contract, so he just can't have one. Idiotic reasoning. And this is why the people that simp for him are ding-dongs. This is why those people that keep, accepting this, that won't open their mouth in a tweet below this and say, Steve, stop virtue signaling to us when you should have signed the damn contract with Kyle back in the day. You should have at least left the channel back then if you were mad that he wouldn't give you 50-50 or whatever prevented you from signing the contract. We all know the real reason he didn't sign the contract. The real reason he didn't do it is because the same thing happens when you sign a contract for you accepting money from a check. The same thing happens. A paper trail is formed that ends up affecting whatever payment you're worried about messing up. Or the same reason that he didn't take Kyle's money but wanted it under the table, he didn't sign a contract that would ensure his daughter would get the non-sec money herself, if what he's saying is true. I don't believe he was owed any non-sec money. I believe Kyle. I did believe Steve. Kyle showed me a lot of evidence. I believe Kyle now. I would believe Steve if he would show the evidence that they had a 50-50. If he would show the evidence that there is another reason why he didn't sign a contract, a legit one. One that isn't his fault. Because if it is his fault that he didn't sign a contract, then it's not something we should feel bad for him for. And we can't blame Kyle for not having a contract with him or not paying him. Because why in the world would any of you pay somebody that wouldn't do a contract, that wouldn't accept their money when you were willing to give it to them out of kindness of your heart? Because yes, not having a contract, not having papers signed means whoever's paying you is doing it just based on them being nice to you, kind to you, wanting to keep you around. They're paying you. When Kyle tried to pay him, oh no, I can't do that. You know that my whatever payment I have or my Medicaid or whatever is going to get jacked. That is scummy. That's not something you should defend by giving him an out here. But if he combines that with his daughter and all this stuff, somehow he's got like 20 people that still simp out for him. And some of them are content creators that actually make content. That's why they simps. Anyway, though, it's the most scummiest one out of the group right here. But I invite you to think about a different thought. Why did he bring this up today? Why did he bring this up today? He's already said this a bunch of times. He's already been completely destroyed on the fact that it's his fault, not Kyle's, that he didn't sign the contract and that he didn't take the money to give his daughter. It's almost like he's saying, I know I messed up and I didn't care enough about my daughter to take the money and put it into her account back then, but now you guys have to bail me out for my mistakes. Well, I'm sorry that I'll say no. Now you gotta hate Kyle for my mistakes. Sorry, I say no. Got me? Scummiest one yet. Hold up. Let me screen this next one. Because these are from Facebook now. Oh, yeah. These are ding-dongy as they get. All right. Are these ding-dongy enough to go to the beaver room? Not right now? Can I go there in a little bit? Okay. 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 August said, I think he showed a blank contract that was emailed. You're right, August. So what does that tell us? That tells us that they never had an agreement. They never had a 50-50. They never had a contract. So what does that mean? That means that legally Kyle doesn't have to pay Steve. If Kyle would just show up to court and say, the law says that I have to have a contract with him if I'm going to have a business with him. We didn't have a contract. We never set terms. We've all admitted to that. So, Judge, why are you in here doing this to me when he should have sat down with me, agreed to terms, and wrote it in a contract? That's what I would do if I was Kyle. I'd just walk in and lay down a couple simple facts that show Steve's lying. But then again, that's not what this is about. This is about Steve being triggered to go into all of this over again because he's starting to realize that the walls are closing in on him. And sure, the judge could come straight out, throw Kyle in jail for 99 years, give Steve $1 million, order the government to step in because now that Kyle's in jail, someone has to pay Steve $1 million. Maybe the judge will do a big GoFundMe campaign and he'll have Red's Rhetoric share it. Either way, it's not our job to fight Steve's war ever again. Unless you're just simping out, ignoring all of this other logic and evidence. But let's talk about this. With my music, thank you. Backdoor conclusion of law prior to a hearing to be scheduled, end quote. Meaning that the judge has to hear Kyle's reasons why he failed to respond to the court order. That is what an order to show cause is for, to compel a defendant to show the reasons for disobeying a court order. Also, though, the judge said that he is entertaining to hear if Kyle was served properly or not. Now, there's a weird thing going on. Steve keeps saying, no matter what anyone else shows, Kyle was served properly. We've heard this. He's even got stuff that he put out today, literally breaking down how he claims that Kyle was served properly, but I don't believe him. I don't believe him. I think Kyle has a slam dunk here, but I suck at law, right? I do know that there are a bunch of states where I can say, because I've talked to lawyers from those states, that if you don't serve somebody directly to their hand with a certified whatever or just whatever you sent, that you will not be able to win a judgment against them. I've talked to several lawyers that have said they can give me their state's assurance that that is the case. Also, we do know that there is a job called a process server. And the reason why companies, people, and others, plaintiffs, send out a process server before they go to court, and the reason why not having a process server successfully do this hinders a court hearing, is because you have to give them the thing. You have to know it. There has to be evidence. So if he didn't live at his mom's house and his mom was the one that took the paper, it doesn't matter if he knew there was a court hearing. If you don't get served, you're not bound to go, and they don't have jurisdiction over you. We know this. Logically, I've been saying to myself, is Steve right about this part of it? And he's going to get into that in a minute. But my point is, why is it that all normal logic and discussion goes out the window, and all of a sudden, on YouTube, somebody sits up and says, if you haven't lived somewhere in 20 years and you send that old address a letter sending them to court, you can win a judgment against them. And that's how it works. These dumb things are said, and yet they never are criticized. They're never discussed. Thankfully, there were people that just criticized that, but Kyle was found liable for fraud, fraudulent conversion, unfair and deceptive trade practices, breach of fiduciary duty, and breach of contract. Where does it say that? Where does it say that? Isn't some of this, aren't some of these crimes, right? Where does it say that Kyle was found liable for fraud? Because it was a default judgment. The default judgment doesn't say that Kyle's liable for all this. The default judgment says we had no other information to go off of, and because he didn't show up, you get what you wanted type deal. I don't see how that means that they literally punished, like you go to look up Kyle's background. He's been found liable for fraud, fraudulent conversion, unfair and deceptive trade practices, breach of fiduciary duty, and breach of contract. But there was no contract. There literally was no contract. We all know that. We've got an admission from Steve that there was no contract or written agreement. He can't show it because there was none. So how did he even get that one? The judge just went ahead and charged Kyle with this breach of contract? Somebody tell me, please. Where does it say this in the court papers? Because I've read the court papers. I never saw this. Don't tempt me, Jules. Kyle Curtis says, yes, and that's exactly what I want. That gives me the opportunity to explain my reason for holding the channel, which is due to a judgment that is legally null. Good stream, bud. Take care from Suj. Thanks, my dude. Have a good one, man. Is it getting late? Suj always leaves at the same time. So it is getting late. I need to get some video games going here. Okay. The judge already ruled I'm entitled to 3 times treble damages. I also didn't see that. I saw the judge say that Steve won by default, but I saw that we needed to wait until they did the damages phase to know what he's going to give him and how much. So how is it you're saying that basically you're guaranteed 3 times? You're guaranteed 3 times of whatever the non-sec papers show that you get. You know, Steve is a dirty person destined for hell. You know? He chose not to get paid. Oh, all right. Is she live? I want to see what she's saying if she's live. Hold up. Oh, damn. I don't see her. Oh, well. So what was I saying? I want to get this done, man. I got that one. I read that one, right? That's Bunnies? Yeah. Okay. I just don't want to miss it. I didn't see her live, but you know. But can anybody give me where in the... Why doesn't he link the court, like a screenshot of where the court ordered this so that people know? Because I didn't see that in the papers. Nobody told me that when they read the papers. Maybe Kyle can tell me. Where did they already say that you owe 3 times and that you've been found for fraud and all that, Kyle? Where was that at? Kyle said, if it didn't have merit, the judge would have denied my motion. He didn't. Instead, he wants to hear my case for it. I got that out of the paperwork, too, and I even got the bottom part, like I said over on my channel, the bottom part of your judgment, where it said, Steve McRae, if he also is found to be lying, will be handled appropriately. It's basically saying, yeah, maybe Kyle can go to jail, Steve, but you can, too, if you've been lying about any of this. And I don't get it. I don't know where he hasn't even told us the terms of non-sec. Because I'm sorry to say, 50-50 and a 50-50 agreement isn't some legally binding contract. You get me? It doesn't work. Then people are going to... Then you get in these big arguments about, like, well, you never said this. Well, I'm the one that started the damn shirt thing, and I did all the work for it. You don't get... It causes these arguments. I don't understand how you guys had a contract where you were trying to figure out what the terms were, and Steve never wanted to agree to anything or sign the contract. And now he says you're in breach in court of contract. It's in the original default judgment. Yeah, but I didn't see a part where in the original default it said that he's getting 3 times the damages by default. Like he's just getting 3 times. I'm not saying it didn't happen. It's not a claim. I want it. Like I said, every lie he tells, I'm going to, you know, put something together. So, you get me. It states I obtained the channel by fraudulent practices. What? How did you obtain the channel by fraudulent practices? He gave you that channel and put all the payment stuff in your name and then denied getting paid from you. How is that fraudulent if he was a... Is he lying to the judge? Because it seems like he's lying to the judge. Yeah, the judge just gave them what they wanted because you didn't contest it. I get that. Judge Judy would have a field day with McSimp. Oh, God, I know. Simp acts like Kyle's going to go to debtor's prison or a workhouse. This isn't the 1800s. Nate said that there is no way Steve will go to jail. The threat was to throw out the case if Steve... Oh, I agree. I'm just saying... The judge didn't specify. So it leads you to fill in the blanks. But then again, that's what Steve's been doing the whole time anyway. Okay. Kyle has produced nothing so far that in any way satisfies the orders of the court. The judge now has to give him a chance to explain why he failed to carry out the order. My God, Kyle, imagine you show up and you prove that you didn't live at that address in front of the judge, and he just throws the whole thing out. Are we going to do a celebratory stream? Are we going to have a party? I'll have a party with you if that happens, if you want. This judge now has to give him a chance to explain it. The judge has sternly warned him that if he doesn't obey the court, blah, blah, blah. Hold on, next page. Chopper Lily says that's what will happen. Well, anything could happen. A judge can mess up and do the wrong thing. But... Oh, did you guys hear that they admitted that they deleted Kyle's... I did say that in a stream, right? I can't remember because I don't talk about this that much anymore. They deleted Kyle's SoundCloud where Kyle is a partner and gets paid for his work. But he's crying that Kyle stole his channel and took it from... Steve, provably, according to Reds, Chesh, and all of them, deleted Kyle's SoundCloud. So bad, dude. It's so bad. Kyle will at least make bail. RockAlot will hold a GoFundMe for him. Lol, lol, lol. They wish. Then they could criticize me, right? It was not in the ruling, Uni. It's part of the state statute. If he wins, he can collect 3 times the judgment. Well, the judge has to approve it, though. Yeah, he can collect up to. I thought the treble was the 3 times was the maximum. The treble thingy is the maximum you can collect. You can't go above 3 times. But the judge has to weigh the, well, that's what I was trying to say. So if what you just said is true, it was not in the court ruling, it's part of the state statute. If that's true, then he lied. He's basically saying that, the maximum that I can get, if the judge allows me to get the maximum, is 3 times. But instead, he says, the judge ordered 3 times. I'm getting 3 times. You see how he lied here? You get me? If the judge didn't say it, and he's just taking the statute and acting like he's guaranteed it, he's not guaranteed it, though. Wouldn't Kyle have had to been proved to do something really bad in order to get 3 times judgment against him? That's for when, it's Kyle. In order for Kyle to have to pay 3 times judgment, I would imagine would need to be Kyle's fault that Steve didn't get paid. But it wasn't Kyle's fault that Steve didn't get paid. It was Steve's fault. And Kyle can prove that very easily. You got me? It's Spotify? Okay. Yeah, they did delete his Spotify. So Red's Rhetoric and Cheshire and Steve, who want to go around getting all the virtue signaling that they've done about you can't take people's channels from them, was all fake. All of this, that's one of the main points I'm making bringing this all up. All this bullshit, virtue signaling, lying, skeezing simp talk that he's put out, it all aims to affect other content creators and those out in the community to give sympathy to Steve. That's why he's a simp lord. Got me? The problem is, he deleted Kyle's Spotify. Now, they lied to the community and said that Kyle used the non sequitur email to do it. No, that was his personal Spotify. Spotify confirmed that it was Steve, and then Reg, Chesh, and Steve confirmed that it was them in their live stream. They haven't even denied it. Steve likes to talk a lot. 3 times is automatic if Steve wins. It's not a badness scale. No. I didn't say it was a badness scale, but that's not true. You get me? There are many judgments that happen where somebody gets the money they're owed, not 3 times the money they're owed. I've seen that happen 1 billion times over. You get me? I'm not saying that in this case. That's what I was asking. If the judge had put in actual language that says Steve is guaranteed 3 times. That's what I was asking, and a lot of people said, no, that's not what it says. The state statute says that that's the maximum that somebody can get. Do you see where I'm going with that? That's what I'm asking. We just need to look at it and confirm it, Yeah, that is putting the horse before the cart. The judge will have to determine the worth. So the judge looks at the amount of money that Kyle should have owed Steve, then applies the amount of money that he thinks, because Kyle did all of this, Steve deserves, and the maximum the judge can go to is 3 times, is how it's been explained to me. I'm not making the claim that that's it. I'm just telling you, many people have explained it to me that way. You could be right. I'm with you. I just want to see, in order for me to know if everyone else that explained it to me, whether they're right or the other people that are explaining it, I'm asking for the actual verbiage from the order. And somebody just said that they looked at the order and it doesn't say that he's guaranteed the 3 times. Now, somebody said it wasn't in the actual order from the judge, that it's part of a statute. You got me? So that's why I'm bringing it up. Not to say you're wrong, not to say that they're wrong, not to say that they're right or you're right, just to discuss it and show that there are a lot of weirdness. Like, now, let's compare this information and the discussion we just had to Sarah Michelle. When Sarah Michelle did her video, I didn't have to stop and do things like this to wonder if she's lying or telling the truth, because Sarah did a good job in conveying information, telling us the reasons why. Now, this is why I'm illustrating how bad of a communicator and content producer and creator Steve McRae is. He can't even explain to his audience these types of things without everybody wondering what the outcome is. We should know immediately after reading what Steve said the truth about what's going on. Instead, all these people have to go in and check it and fact check this and look at that and wonder this and wonder that. That's not your fault. It's not their fault. That's the fault of him. See? This is a thing that I stressed way back in January when I criticized him, and I forget the name of the video. I talked about how he purposely causes this thing that I've just described, which I call like community confusion, because if we're in here trying to figure out what the truth is, he gets to go out and run around and lie and skis every little one of his claims. If he puts out 100 claims, nobody has time to fact check the claims, to get to the truth of those claims before some other drama pops up due to him spazzing out his boomer shit. That's how he gets so many lies, so many deceptions, so many deceits, and so much bullshit that goes on. And he still gets people who I think are good people, fight the flat earth, confused in their bullshit. Fight can't sit down and work whether Steve's lying about this or not, because every single time he starts to go through something, which takes forever to go through and find the truth on, the next big controversy happens, the next big thing's out there, and it doesn't ever make an impact or get discussed. He purposely does this. This is his narcissistic pattern in manipulating those few people that are still close to him. With further saying, mentioned incarceration twice. My guess will be both if Kyle fails to comply. All these idiot effing internet lawyers basically putting down every internet lawyer on YouTube are dumb as you know what. Reds is right here. Reds is a simp. Maybe Reds is right about something, Steve, but here's the point. He is so obsessed with defending you, he's become a flat earther. Nobody knows if he's saying the thing he's saying because it's true or if he's just saying it to make you look good or look better. This is easily recognizable even by your audience. So your own audience knows that Reds is a simp for you. They won't even deny it. My lawyer is right. Anyone with a basic understanding of law knows this is right. If any idiot thinks any one of those above material facts are wrong, they clearly don't know WTF they're talking about. Shocker. I know, right? Again, you're dealing with a nuke school graduate. Even though he doesn't have a degree, he doesn't have a qualification, he doesn't have any type of, actual title, he graduated, so he's the smartest ever. You're all wrong and shouldn't talk about all this. Discuss it and look into it. You should take what he and his friends, the ones loyal to him, says is true. Now, if like tomorrow, his lawyer or Reds was to criticize Steve and call him out on the lies he's told and, completely expose him, what would Steve do? He would block whoever did it, Reds, or the lawyer. The Reds would never do it. He's an ultimate simp to Steve. So if the lawyer turned on him, he'd block the lawyer. He would claim that the lawyer's always wrong. He would claim that this lawyer who he once told you was right all the time is now an lawyer that is dumb as shit and expect you not to believe him. And so the people who question you, Steve, they're actually smart. They're skeptical. They have been lied to by you so many times that they now know they need to go look into this to be able to figure out what's going on. They can't take your word for it. You're dishonest. His lies are like a runway being built in perpetuity. If he has no workers to extend his platform, he will crash. So true. And that's why he can't ever do content on his channel alone, too. Okay, we've read this one. Yeah, that's the same one. Okay. Next. Now, there's a problem here. So, he gives a lawyer, he brings up his lawyer, and then he brings up OPT lawyer. But I was told OPT lawyer isn't a lawyer. He never claimed to be a lawyer, other than his title. Why is Steve still talking about this stupid shit? Because he's worried that he's going to lose, and he has a whole bunch of people criticizing him, and his response is this boom. That's what I'm showing you. It is a direct result of what happened yesterday. People starting to realize how, when a lot of creators went live and described the court document and told people, read it yourself. A bunch of the people, even those that are simped out to Steve, read it and had questions for Steve because he'd been inaccurately describing everything. So he went on this boom fest 5-6 hours ago to try and force into their heads how, if you don't believe me, OP lawyer, T lawyer that's not a lawyer, but we're calling him a lawyer because his name is, you know, he put lawyer in his name, L-A-W-E-R. If you don't believe us, then you're dumb little ding-dongs. And all those other people out there that pulled up the court paper are just liars. Those people who read the actual paper after hearing Steve talk criticized him, and he got mad and boomed. Here are the actual facts of the matter that my lawyer and OPT lawyer agree are material objective facts. The partial default judgment is in full force. The partial default judgment has ordered Kyle to turn over everything to me, including financials. The court judge has found reasonable cause that Kyle has not turned over everything to me, including financials, has granted an order to show cause when the courts have the hearing. Exactly. The court didn't throw him in jail, you liar. The court didn't order for Kyle to go to jail like you said he would. The court didn't order for Kyle to just get all of it and go to jail. No, he ordered Kyle to come give his piece. That's what we've all said. It's the truth. You can lie as much as you want. But when Kyle goes down, and he better go, Kyle, you better go, dude. Because you not going just hands him all the power. When Kyle goes down there and stands in front of the judge, he's not just going to get to say one thing, my dude. He's going to tell the judge everything, and you're scared. You are booming because of it. You're going crazy over this. This is what this is about. You're afraid of Kyle standing in front of the judge. You better pray that Kyle doesn't go, Steve. It's the only out you have. Yeah, Kyle's going to go stand in front of the judge, and he's literally just going to say one thing like, I didn't turn it over because here's my one reason. No, dude, he's going to have it all laid out. The judge will finally see Kyle's side. What do you think's going to happen after the judge sees it? He's going to look at it. He's going to think about it. He's going to weigh it against your facts. Now, what happens when Kyle proves that you guys didn't have a contract this whole time? Because he can prove that. I've seen it with my own eyes. What happens when Kyle proves that he tried to pay you 7 times and you refused and told him that the only way you'd take the money is under the table? And I've got the video clip to prove it. I've got you saying that to him, and I've got you saying that to Shannon Q. So I got multiple clips. What about the video clip? Kyle could take the video clip of Steve and Reds talking about right before he got kicked off the channel how they need to get a 50-50 agreement, get it in writing, and get it signed so that Steve is protected in case he gets kicked off the channel. But yet, days later, they claimed that they had a 50-50 agreement and that Kyle is screwing Steve over. Literally days before admitting they did not have a 50-50 agreement. Right? This is the real reason Unirock's the enemy. Because I hit him with all of this right after I criticized him about Katie Joy Paulson. Criticized him about Katie Joy, then I hit him with all of this information. Laid it all out, proving that Steve's been lying the whole time about non-sec, the virtue signal for your support. But I've already proven that. Kyle has been, here it is. This is what we've been getting to about these screenshots. Kyle, we got to break this down. You guys need to think this through with me. He says, oh shit, my chat's locked up. Keon says that's true. He wanted to be paid for the non-con that never happened. In fact, the same day of the breakup, 6/11, Kyle had a hangout with Reds about non-con. Yeah. Can you get me a copy of it, please? I want to make sure I've seen it. I'm pretty sure I have because I've seen most of the streams from back then. But Reds tends to unlist in private the ones that make him look bad or exercise his lies. So I might need to get a copy of it. So we need to talk about this because this is the biggest contention. This is where most people are not in Steve's favor, even though they support Steve because they think that this is bullshit. Then there are people out there who hate Steve that also believe that Steve's fucked here. But the problem is Steve and just 3 other people constantly say that he's not fucked here. So we need to talk about this. I need you to type in the chat what you think about this, please. Okay? I want to know what you think specifically about this next point. Kyle has been legally served as a matter of legal fact, as in North Carolina, process is presumed at time it's mailed USPS. What? So you're saying some dickhead could sue me for my entire YouTube channel, and all he needs to do is write some bullshit address on it, mail it, because at the time that it's mailed, it's assumed. That's what you're telling me? So if you live in North Carolina and you have a business, you need to move. If this is true, you need to not live in North Carolina. It means anybody can sue you for anything. It means that they don't even have to give you proper service. It means that a court will have jurisdiction over you, whether you live there or not. And then you'll get sued, and they can go in and literally lay down anything they want. And as long as you don't know you're being sued, or let's say they choose to sue you while you're on a 6-month vacation to do some research in Antarctica or some other country, or if they know you're going on a 3-month fishing, or how about you work on a fishing boat and you're gone for 4 months out of the year. All they got to do is go sue you during that 4 months. They could take everything from you legally because process is served when they drop that letter in the mailbox, according to Steve. Kennels and Cove says registered mail must be served to defendant's home address, period. Should have been served in person if he wants to send it to Kyle's family. I agree, Kennels and Coves. Yes, and this is my issue. Everybody wants to say, oh, you're so mean. Okay. The 10 people that still support Steve want to say, including Fight the Flat Earth and others, oh my God, you guys are so bad for calling out Steve for all of his lies all the time, and you guys suck for it. Oh my God. But dude, he's saying that, like, read this. Kyle has been legally served as a matter of fact, as in North Carolina, process is presumed at time it's mailed USPS. I truly think Steve just makes things up to fit his narrative and hopes that when someone calls him out, that if he makes enough noise about it, if he yells about other things, if he tries to dox them, if he tries to harass them, that they'll just lay off. I seriously feel like that's what's up, but you tell me. Tell me now in the chat. The judge was saying, although I should be complying with the order because he has to, he also seemed to want to hear me out. Oh, 100%, he definitely sounded like he wants to hear you out. So, give me some opinions in the chat. Has Kyle been legally served if he didn't get it and if it wasn't handed to him? And then, why do process servers exist in North Carolina? Because I looked, they do work in North Carolina. Unless I, like, misinterpreted the webpage. Why do process servers exist in North Carolina? They don't even need process servers. They can just send a piece of mail and they're done. And they're good to sue somebody, grab everything they want, and run away. It doesn't matter if that person got them a piece of mail or not. Because, you know, theoretically, if you make sure that they know there's a lawsuit now, doesn't matter what their excuse is, if they're sick, if they're working, if they got something else going on, they're immediately guilty. Copper Lily says not served properly. Donut says, how long will this case freaking take? Only because of the pandemic is it drawing out, in my opinion. Boxer Wing not served properly. Kyle says, and that's my argument, MD. If I hand over and he deletes stuff and I win the motion, I can't get back that stuff. All you got to do, Kyle, is show the judge what you showed me. Proof from Spotify that he purposely and willingly deleted your partnered Spotify account where you make money every month. Because that makes him the most hypocritical. Every single person that's on Steve's side should be calling him out and criticizing him for deleting your Spotify. Because he did it. He deleted your Spotify. He made 100 excuses for why he was allowed to. But yet he's sitting here bitching that you shouldn't have control of your channel. Your non sequitur channel. He thinks he should be able to control and delete anything he wants. That's his argument. He won't say that because he can't say that in front of his audience or they'll get mad at him. So he lies in front of his audience. His actions are different than what he says with his mouth. His actions, the way he acts. He did delete Kyle's partnered Spotify. It's the same thing as deleting my partnered YouTube channel or your partnered YouTube. Or how about, do you make money with D Live? Would you make money with Mixer? Steve just deleted your partnered channel with a company, and he states that it's ethical and that he's allowed to do it. It's fucked. I will not ever support Steve McRae. Let's take away him sexually harassing Katie Joy and then lying about it, saying it happened on Twitter. Let's take away him supporting David Earl Warden while calling the victims of David Earl Warden, after being proved in court, ironically, liars. Let's take away all the other things he did. He deleted your damn channel that you make money from every month, but then cries that he's not being paid for a channel he didn't own, that he wouldn't put a contract in for. And I can't believe, Fight. Dude, Fight, I know you get mad at me for bringing up your name. How do you support this? He could have deleted your channel, Fight. By his logic, Steve can delete your channel. Doesn't matter if you make money from it, if you own it, if you did all the work on it. He thinks he should be able to delete it if he can make a dumb excuse up for it. You know? It's just crazy. How do you delete Kyle's music channel? You know how hard it is to get partnered? You know how long I worked to get partnered with Mixer, or I'm sorry, with Scope, D Live, other networks? And then some dickhead who, some virtue signaling simp comes along and just deletes your shit. Too bad. And then guess what Reds and Chesh say? They say, no, it's okay that Kyle got his shit deleted by Steve. They literally have been arguing for a year that you shouldn't be able to steal someone else's channel. Well, deleting the channel's worse than stealing it, dummy. Yet, they made excuses on their last live stream for why it's okay that they deleted Kyle's partnered Spotify. And don't say they didn't do it. Spotify has given Kyle absolute confirmation that Steve McRae's email account logged in, found a way to submit a password change to Kyle's Spotify, logged into it, and deleted it maliciously. You have to give that to the judge, Kyle. You have to. Anybody want... I'm only buying time while somebody describes to me how Kyle was served properly. I need a Steve supporter in my chat because I know you're watching. I know Steve is combing the silver and drinking rum and coke, booming, blurbling, gurgling with his face red right now. He can have one of his little simps jump in and tell us how Kyle got served properly. If I can get some good logic to why Kyle was served properly, I will give you guys 30,000 points to everybody in the chat. That'll get you talking. You watch and see. You wait and see. I'll get some logic now. Or if you have the opinion Kyle wasn't served properly and you type it in the chat, give me some feedback. I'll give you some points. You want those points? You better get telling me what you think about that. Oh, but he doesn't watch the creators that he blocks, Uni. You're right, MD, because if he did watch the creators that he blocks, by his logic, with Sarah, he'd be a stalker. He'd be a harasser. But him literally stalking and harassing someone's kid and sexually harassing a woman online isn't. It's crazy town. Hold up. I'm going to get ready for a payout, but I better get some opinion in my chat about this process service. No, I'm gonna get to the mental breakdown. Give me time, Busy. I heard yesterday that my mental breakdown looked fake. I'm gonna try to give you a real one today. I'm trying. Besides vids, Steve had access to those financials the entire time, and we did show, except got 3 days. You're right. Yeah, Kyle, you know that whole thing where he's crying to Shannon Q, I need to see the books. He had access to the books the entirety of Non Sequitur. That's Steve McRae. He doesn't do something that he himself could have done for a long time and then cries that all of his people should be supportive that he needs it done for him. Steve can't click a button and look at the damn show's statistics and money earned. Steve can't do that for a year and a half. He needs Kyle to do it for him. That's his argument. Oh, I got some opinions now. Besides, I read that. Because Stephen Cheshire said so, says Nikki. I honestly think that's what, well, don't forget. Simp Rennery. Kyle was not served properly, says Marcy. He uses WD-40 as gel. That does fit as an opinion. I'll give that to you. Kyle was served properly because the McSimp said so. God has spoken. Wade says, Steve is an SJW moronic moron. That's a double negative, which makes him even more of a moron, in my opinion. BCP says, Busy was the one that served Kyle. I know this happened. First-hand knowledge. Are you sure that you didn't just get really whacked out on peanut butter and crack and hallucinate? I knew it. BCP, he said he was hallucinating. It happens. Somebody said Kyle's mother was served properly. Who said it? Who said it? Hold on. My chat skipped right when I read it. Oh my God, that's the best response I've ever seen. Kyle's mom was served properly. Okay, where is it? Damn, you guys are blowing the chat up now. I can't even find it. All right, I'll just keep going. Who said it? Who? Team Skeptic? Oh, T-Queen. It sounded like Team Skeptic. Oh, I'm not supposed to say his name. Didn't he tell me not to say his name? And Fight said not to say his name? Okay, I'll stop saying their names. I'm sorry, Busy. They tell me to do something, I have to do it. Wait, even though they told me they'd come talk to me if anything ever happened, and then they kept telling me they would come talk to me, and then they didn't. But I still have to do what they tell me to, right? Okay. All right. Steve was putting Dave in the middle, and I asked Dave to deflect. With a wire brush. Come on, you can come out of your rock. Giggle. Oh, but he doesn't watch creators he blocks. Okay. Gotcha, Kyle. Rooting for. Okay, now I'm back to where it was. Kyle was served properly because the simp said so. Kyle, is there a way to prove they had access to the financials? Yes, I can prove it. Give me 1 second, Keon. I can prove it to you. I can prove that they had access to the financials. Just give me a second. I want to read the rest. Steve is just failing to control the judge as he does in others in his life, and he's spiraling because his fail-proof tactics aren't working. But he was so confident. He was right. Very true, Torn Edge. If there are certain things about process that are inviolate and you don't do them, then the process hasn't been started. And if it is required for Kyle to be served, then that is the law. You can read the NC process for serving. I read it, but it does not seem clear to me one way or the other, says Mickey Mouse. Ozzy said, Trisha says, Kyle wasn't served correctly and Steve knew it. Hell, he blasted it all over Twitter and the net. Kyle, when someone refers to the books, they're generally referring to a balance sheet, income statement, generally a ledger at the very least. Well, listen, the books could be that negative, but the books basically at its root is the analytics inside of the money-generating stuff. So if you take money on Patreon, YouTube, and SoundCloud, then to see the books means to see the analytics, the tab of the analytics for revenue on those three networks. This is another thing. Steve purposely tries to blur. He blurs the different things that they're looking for, right? The different definitions that people could look for. So, well, we need the books. Well, he didn't give me a book, so I get to sue him. It's like, no, the books are you knowing what these channels make. So he had the ability to see what Non Sequitur made from Super Chat and from revenue. So in the very least, him sitting there acting like he had no clue what Non Sequitur made. Yeah, sure. Unless he had a login to Patreon, then he might not have known, but I'm sure he knew how much they made on Patreon because Kyle told him. He's admitted to knowing how much. You get me? So Steve knowing how much they made is the books. in a way where Kyle couldn't hide something or lie about it, right? That would be the way to say it. Okay, my chat just skipped. I'm sorry. So how do we know that Steve and Reds had access to the books? Steve and Reds and Bull had access to look at the analytics, the revenue analytics for non sequitur, because they've admitted that they did. Reds admitted that they did, and they've admitted that they had the manager access to the channel. That's what Kyle kicked them off of. Now, what other revenue would matter toward the books? Well, of course, Streamlabs, and of course, the T-shirt sales and the Patreon would be the main ones. So does Steve have an argument that he didn't get to see those three things? Sure, but that's not what he's asking for, right? He literally is asking for something that he could have logged in and saw the entire time. Now, everybody take this in. Remember, when did Reds throw the biggest fit about how Steve needs to be making all this money and Steve isn't getting paid? When did that happen? Right after Bull showed Reds how much money non sequitur made. Now, Reds has a history of manipulating people for money on YouTube. He does. That's the truth, right? Just like he also has a history of pretending that he's open to hearing all sides of an argument and logically working toward what side is most logical or debunkable or whatever. These things are not true about him. And if you combine the evidence that we have, the clips that we have, and the way they've reacted, right? You got Reds criticizing me for sharing my pay link, something that non sequitur did constantly, which he never criticized non sequitur for doing, something Steve does more than I do for his PayPal and Patreon, right? What am I trying to say with this whole stream? Why am I bringing this up? Because they are hypocrites. And that's why Fight and Team, as long as they stay working with these fools, are going to get this type of thought process from the community. But what matters is that he doesn't link anything, right? Kyle has been legally served as a matter of legal fact, as in North Carolina process is presumed at the time it is mailed to USPS. The defendant is not required to sign for it, merely somebody over 18 years of age, an adult. So basically, Kyle shows up and says, I didn't get served. This guy lies about me all the time, Judge. I never know if he's been saying he's going to sue me for a year, never did. How am I supposed to know that they weren't trolling me? They've trolled me like crazy. Here's some evidence of them trolling me. Here's some evidence of them lying to me. So how do I know? If I don't get the service, how do I know? Well, your mother didn't call and tell you? No, I don't talk to my mom that often. What's the judge going to say? No, Kyle. You're screwed? So if the judge did say, no, Kyle, you're screwed, he could appeal it because his basic constitutional rights would have been violated. He'd at least have an argument. We're not arguing towards Kyle and Steve. We're arguing for the entirety of the world. Are you okay with your old address getting let's say you don't talk to your mom anymore. Let's say your mom all of a sudden just started being bitchy or moved to North Carolina or something, right? You don't talk to your mom anymore, but you just got sued for $10,000 and owe it to someone because your mom got served and you didn't know because you don't talk to her. So if Kyle can be served like this, how Steve is saying, everybody in North Carolina should be freaking terrified. But the problem is, this isn't true. You know? Somebody in the United States does have to be served properly, and that's why courts make such a big deal about it. It's why process servers do exist. Why are you still arguing this, my dude? Could you be narcissistically just trying to convince people that you were right when you said this in that stream? Because I've noticed when you guys make a mistake in a stream, you'll never admit to the mistake. You'll never change it. Like you always say you will. I do my due diligence. I change things. You can't. I think the reason that you keep sharing this specific thing is because you're scared that you're going to get your case thrown out because you didn't serve him properly. Then because of your big mouth, let's say you didn't serve him properly, but you never would have went to the internet and said it. Most likely the judge never would have found out. Nobody ever would have known that you didn't serve him properly. Kyle never would have had the idea to go tell the judge he wasn't served properly. But because Steve opened his big mouth on the internet, people stood up and said, are you telling me he's literally admitting Kyle wasn't served properly? The judge needs to know. And it got him in a lot of shit. And I think he's obsessed with that thing I just said. That thing bothers him. It bothers him that he couldn't keep his mouth shut, and it bothers him that he admitted it and that he didn't serve him properly. Because guess what? Here's the point that I really want to make about this. And I'm glad that he boomed out about this today because I wanted to make this point. You tell me, if Steve McRae, if Kyle had sued Steve, and Kyle sent Steve's mom the service, are you telling me Steve wouldn't be standing up, flipping out about how he wasn't served properly? Is that what you're saying to me? Right? Somebody tell me. So Steve is saying that if his mother got a summons for him, if it got served for him, Steve would be okay saying, welp, I got served properly, I'm going to court. He would never bring up how that... Bullshit. Bullshit. He'd demand to have that thing thrown out. This is just another blatant example of how Team Skeptic and Fight the Flat Earth are ding-dongs for still supporting this guy. I'm sorry, Fight. I love you. You can hate me till the cows come home. I still love you. But I'm going to pound this into your head because I'm doing you a favor, bro. I'm trying to save you and the content that you do from being dragged down by this ding-dong. Sorry, it's true. Boomer would have a hairy canary. Gabriel says the books. When a simp fights for his life in court, who knows what's to come? Coming to your local theater. It's a movie ad. It's genius. No, dude, that was really good. That honestly was really good. Thanks for that. I think you're risking jail, Kyle, but it's your call. So I'm going to make a point. I have admitted. You see, I know that people want to go and say, these damn internet lawyers. I don't have to be a lawyer to talk about this, give my opinion on this. I don't think I'm an internet lawyer. Thank you, Gabriel, very much. I'm telling you, I'm not an internet lawyer. I don't know the law. I don't know shit about the legal process. All I can do is apply logic to it and then bitch if the United States law is fucked, right? Now, hold up. So, is Kyle risking jail by not complying with the order? I disagree. I disagree for one reason. I've got a bunch of friends who went to court for things throughout their lives. And, so I've got a bunch of friends. All of them have stories about people who were ordered to pay some amount of money in court. Or people that were ordered by a judge in a civil case to pay a payment. And I know a bunch of people out there who didn't ever make a payment on that civil payment. They never went to court. They never showed up. They never made a payment. They never went to jail. Now, I don't know. North Carolina could be different, but I thought the basic understanding was you have to be charged by a criminal court to go to jail. A civil court can't order to have you arrested, or I'm not arrested, to have you locked up. The civil court has to go to the DA, and then the DA has to file charges. Then those charges have to be approved. Wait, the DA approves them? But anyway, then they come and get you. Wouldn't Kyle not go to jail for either deleting non sequitur, keeping non sequitur, or whatever he does with non sequitur? Right? Wouldn't he not go to jail for it? For God's sakes, it's a civil case. They would need to do a criminal case for him to go to jail. Or am I wrong? Tell me in the chat. I'm going to pay out the 40,000. Pay out 40,000 points right now for those of you that were kind enough to answer my last question. If I get people answering this question, I'll do another payout. What do you think? What do you think, peeps? How is Kyle going to go to jail without being charged by a criminal court or, in criminal court? He would have to be, correct? So The judge isn't going to say, Kyle didn't turn it over, go arrest him. He's literally going to have to be charged. Then they're going to have to do a trial. Kyle's going to have to be dragged in there, right? 40,000 points coming at you, and you don't want to know how many points I'm going to give you if you answer this with an opinion. Well, you probably do want to know, but I won't tell you until I do it. Okay. Kyle probably didn't have much support in the past. Now you have an entire audience supporting you now. This case is in court, and you have your friends in the Discord server watching for you. Yeah, but here's another thing. Why are they all so... don't answer this yet. Answer this later. Why is Steve acting like Kyle owns the Discord server and that Steve... Why doesn't Steve just make his own server? Why does he have to have non-sequitur's server? And if Kyle does not have control of that server right now, a judge can't compel him to hand it over and can't charge him for not handing it over. It's just dumb. Also, the judge cannot compel legally, the judge can't compel Kyle to give over his Twitter account. If he used the non sequitur Twitter account as his personal Twitter account, that's an invasion of privacy.